Hello, it's me, Carl Wolfgang Schultz, and I am going to be talking to you about some tips for specifically the music industry. I labeled these video type autobiography things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, called Autobiography 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so I was thinking about it, but I'm not going to make it all about me. I think where we're going with this is, helping you get better and better at making music. Because I think that I have some knowledge that I'll be able to share with you. So this particular one is going to be about just if you're a musician starting out. So here we go. When you're starting out in the music industry, I would imagine that everybody has their own reason why they're getting into the music industry. If they even want to call it the music industry. You have people that are going to do it because they love it. Like they absolutely love the idea of making music. They, different reasons, will come. So, and then you have others that see it as a profitable way of making money, and they'll do anything to get to a certain level. Could be selling out, and that's like the only thing that really comes to mind. But you should do it for whatever you feel is right, like whatever the right reason is to you. Just some tips. Go ahead and try to be different. Don't try to be like everybody else. That's the first and foremost thing. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time to get to your best level. And, I would never compare yourself to other people when you're in the music business, in the industry. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people in any way, shape, or form. You should have a dream and follow that dream. You shouldn't be trying to mimic somebody else or steal somebody else's act, because it's just not fun. And it's like you're chasing somebody else's dream versus your own dream, and that could cost you. So it's better off to just go after what you want versus trying to mimic somebody else. I will admit that it's going to take a long time to develop your act. Your act meaning like your brand, but more specifically and interestingly is you're going to want, you got to figure out who you are and what your message is, and you gotta go for that. Try to be a little bit more specific when you say rap music is what you do. Try to be a little more specific if you say that pop music is what you do. An example could be that yours is that you're trying to heal the world, that you're trying to make the world a better place through your music, or something like that. You got to get specific with the stuff, so that when you're writing music, when you're specifically writing music, not producing music, or maybe producing music, you're focusing on some kind of message behind the song. Maybe not at the start, but as you start to develop the song and the song starts to get more interesting to you, there's a message behind it that you should focus on making, clearer. So, so that when you look back on the song later on down the line, you can be proud of what you wrote, and so on and so forth. Another thing that comes to mind, it's a pretty good tip, is that you are going to experience a whole bunch of different time milestones in your career. You should always think long term. You shouldn't think like get in, get out. You know, because the only thing that's going to get you through this, you know, the hard times, the good times, because yeah, there will be hard times. You're going to have hard times. You know, it's not going to be easy by any means. You know, if it were easy, everybody would do it. But I will tell you, it's possible. You just got to want it bad enough. But you got to have the passion. The passion is what's going to get you. It's definitely going to get you through the hard times. So one of the things that I think you will find is that as you start progressing in your career of music, you're going to realize that it's not free. You know, you have to pay for products and services. You have to keep on learning the things that are going to help your music. Like sometimes you have to pay for subscription services that are going to make your like your marketing so that people can see your music and stuff like that. You know, you have to pay for marketing, which means, for example, you might have to pay a premium price to use SoundCloud. You know, if you're familiar with SoundCloud, it's a form of distribution that's an online streaming service that you can also download and etc. And it has buy links to your iTunes and stuff like that. So you have things that you're gonna have to pay for, you know, and they won't always stay the same. Like one day you might use SoundCloud and then the next day you might not use SoundCloud. And so you have to realize that things are always changing and your price structure is always going to be changing. It's always going to be fluctuating. You know, whether you sell your beats or your music for a certain price one day, it might be different the other day. You know, you have to break even. You've heard of breaking even before on your costs and your revenue. They have to 0-0. It has to equal each other or you're not making any profit. So, but you won't make profit. You most likely won't make profit for a while, for a few years. It's gonna take a while for you to make some real money. But once you do, it'll be residual, which means it'll keep coming and coming and coming. You know, you'll see that when you get to a certain level. But you will start to do research on how to get better in the music industry. We all do it. You start looking and seeing how you can get better and better in the music industry, and what this particular artist is using as far as products to make their marketing of their music better, or how are they selling more albums. We're always looking for tips and tricks, you know, to get our music out there and make more money, and just, you know, we're always looking into other people and how they're doing things. So it's common that you would get onto someone's website and purchase a product or a service to use in order to leverage yourself and make yourself so that you can sell more music. And so hence you need to realize that it's going to cost money to make money. You know, I'll save you the headache in that. It's going to cost you money to make money. It always does. You know, nothing is ever really free. Sometimes, you know, like, sometimes you'll get stuff for free, like handouts and stuff like that. But don't think about that. Think about creating products and services, mainly your music, mainly books and e-courses and stuff like that. And you'll be set. You know, you keep making those, and they'll produce a lot of income for you in the long run. So I remember back when I was a lot younger in the music industry, probably like 10 years ago, I would constantly look at videos like this that you're listening to now, and they would talk about certain things, and like that would interest me and that I thought were practical and that made sense, and I thought I would immediately try some of the things that they were doing. And I got really anxious a lot of times, and I tried a lot of different tried a lot of different people's products and stuff like that to get to the next level, and I don't regret it by any means. I don't regret trying these other people's products and stuff like that, because I learned a lot, and here I am to share with you some of the stuff that works and some of the stuff that doesn't work. Nothing really comes to mind, but you have to figure out what works for you, because what works for me works for me. And what works for you, will work for you. What I mean by that specifically is it has to fit your lifestyle. If you're fine with selling albums in front of a gas station all day, every day, then that's for you. You want to research that field and figure out how that can make you more money and more sales in your albums, and that would be your thing. But if you're someone that likes to travel a lot and you don't necessarily have time to be, you just like to travel, and so you want to accommodate everything towards your traveling, which means you don't want a 9-to-5 job. Probably you want to be in the traveling. You want to buy a camper or something. I don't know. But so think things like that through when you're listening to other people and they're telling you about how this product will work for you and how it won't for you. You really need to think about this stuff so that you can save as much money as possible. And you do need to save as much money as possible, even when you make, even when you're not in debt, even when you are, you're riding high, or even if you are in debt, you need to have money put aside. Okay? One of the things is you have to realize that, yeah, there's things that will make you more money, like if you buy them, they'll make you more money and stuff like that, but you need to have a slush fund. You need to have some money on the side so that you can pay rent if you need to. Yeah, you might be saying, well, Carl, I make X amount of dollars. I make $30,000 a year. I make less than that, or just a little under that, or I make a lot more. But the reality is, if you're not disciplined enough to save that money, and something comes along that's a big price tag, and you're not disciplined enough to save that money, and you go and spend it on that, you need to be, instead, you'll go broke, you'll go bankrupt. You will lose all that money if you're not disciplined in saving money. So you just make sure that if you think, this person that's telling you, or you really like something of interest, like a product in, like a new drum set or something, and it interests you and you feel a need to buy it right then and there, it takes a certain kind of person to step back and say, hey, maybe I don't need that right now. And I'll say that again, because I think it's so important. I'll say it again. Maybe I don't need that right now. And instead, maybe there's an alternative so that I can save money and purchase something perhaps a little bit more long-term, like a long-term solution. So, you really got to dig down sometimes and figure out, what you need and what you don't need. And it's not easy. I know I'm guilty of going and buying things when, I don't have that much money. For some reason, though, I'm not going to get into it, because I want to be a patient person, but, so I'm trying to talk like I'm patient, because I want to be patient. But, so think about that when you're researching other things that might help, grow your business and stuff like that. I think one of the biggest suggestions that I can make for you is that focus, okay? And this is a good long-term discipline that you could use. Try to focus on one thing. In the music industry, I would suggest that you focus on making music, okay? Try to get better at making your sounds, sound a little bit better. Whatever it is that you're in the music industry, I don't know what it is, but just try to focus and own that and be the best at that. You never will be the best at anything, and they also say that, focus, because you can either be the jack of all trades, like you can be good at everything, and you'll never be good at one thing, but you just look at it like this. You need to balance everything. Don't look at trying to be the best at one thing, like focus necessarily, just try to balance. Balancing things is really important so that you are well-diversed. You know, you're never going to be good at just, you're going to be great at one thing. Don't even try. You know, yeah, I could call the music industry that one great thing, you know, and yeah, I'm an expert in that. But the reality is the music industry is composed of a lot of different things, so that you don't really want to, you know, don't limit yourself and try to focus on one thing. Instead, try to be good at a lot of things. That's what I would say. But focus, you know, try to get semi-decent at whatever, producing music versus marketing or something. You know, try to keep the tight shot group, as I like to call it, you know, of the things that are gonna help you, make you successful. So I think that's it for the tips. I'm actually pulling into a restaurant right now, and I'm gonna get my food on. So I will definitely give you guys some more tips later on, or you, if I'm talking just to one person, so that you can do well. Alright? So until then, keep out for the next video. I think I'm going to keep on, well, I know I'm going to keep on doing these audio biographies for you. And I think right now they're going to be related to music. I'm pretty sure they're going to be related to the music, you know, not just me. Because that's all I ever talk about is music and trying to help other people. So that's cool, isn't it? Alright. See ya.